It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Now the pressure's all on me. My wife once asked the meaning of joy. I've asked before other questions about the past, and you've told me to stop talking and, concentrate on now. So can you help me understand tolerance and intolerance? And is there even a place for tolerance in my own reality? Is it something I have to deal with? Is it something I can just let go?
It is one of the most ineffective, unproductive, not good for you emotions that you could ever foster and encourage. Because what it is a looking right at something unwanted, feeling the guidance of the being off track, and then the learning to accept it as a feeling that you are willing to endure.
That's good.
In other words, we get it that it's a good idea not to misbehave in public. They might drag you off an airplane. We understand that sometimes you just have to kind of suck it up and not say anything. But when you deliberately practice recognizing an emotion that doesn't feel good, which means every time my inner being is looking at this differently, but I'm choosing to stay focused upon it in opposition to my inner being, so the knot still remains in my stomach, but I don't do anything about it. And in fact, in an attitude of seeking tolerance, most humans would say tolerance is not liking it and just accepting it, while intolerance might mean not liking it and throwing a fit. Well, maybe it's better not to throw the fit, but it certainly isn't good for you to look at something unwanted and not do anything about adjusting your vibration. It's like the difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is looking right at something uncomfortable and just holding myself in that discomfort, while compassion is being in alignment first, and then from my state of alignment with my inner being, then looking at whatever the subject is, but I don't feel the discomfort of it. Instead, I see it through the eyes of source. And because I hold my vibrational stance, now I'm bringing to the table, I'm bringing to the mix pure positive energy, which means I might influence the whole room upward under those conditions. With empathy, I just have to go down to meet it. Where with compassion, I stay with who I am. So I don't take a dip in my vibration, which means I might not help them, but I don't hurt me. And there's a stronger probability that they may come upward if we're able to play together longer with me feeling and behaving in my physical form like my inner being always behaves. Esther said to us early on, when she began understanding emotions and where we stood in relationship to her, and one day in the midst of strong negative emotion, she said to us, Abraham, I think you should come over here with me so that I don't feel so bad. Because she knew the reason she felt bad was because we had different vibrational frequencies, and she had moved so far from who she really is. So she tried to talk us in to coming there with her so that she wouldn't feel the separation so much. And we said, you got to come where we are. You got to come where we are.
Thank you.
Everything that we're talking about, in fact, is about being less conditional. Because it's really hard to be so, here we are in this physical manifestation part, wrapped up in the details of what's already manifested, which as far as we're concerned is old news. It's like gum that you've chewed all the flavor out of. The juice isn't there. So here's this life experience that you're giving your attention to, and as you give your attention to it, then you want to feel good, of course. And so you become, as an individual or as a parent or as an employer, as a mass consciousness, you become demanding of the details of your reality, because when you look at something that feels good to you, you say, oh, I'd like more of that. And when you look at something that feels bad to you, you say, I want less of that. So you start passing laws. We will not stand for that. We want more of that. Problem is, you can't come into any agreement about what you really think you need in order to feel good. Have you noticed? Different people want different things, and the world is a big enough place for you to all be able to find satisfaction in the diverse world in which you are living. But when you believe that that condition has to change before you can feel good, now you are attempting to control the uncontrollable. You see, you've got to find a way. And that's what a lot of people call tolerance. I know I can't control it, so I'll just suffer about its existence. But that suffering festers until there are rebellions. Have you noticed? Where unconditional love or unconditional alignment is because you are no longer believing that over here where all the flavors already chewed out of the gum is where it's at. Unconditional love is where you understand that there is a vibrational reality that is in the state of becoming, and you give your undivided attention to the unconditioned. You give your undivided attention to what you are wanting to allow to become. Did you feel that? We'll talk more about it as we move along.